Welcome to Kiss and Tell Stories. Enjoy the story and have a great time listening. I'm just an ordinary person. Yet, I'm better at exercising spirits than professional shamans. The fake fortune teller at the beginning of the street told me that the merit accumulated on me was as solid as a great wall. To save money, I bought a foreclosed villa at a bargain price. Unexpectedly, on the very first night, a female ghost in a bright red dress leisurely stood in the middle of the living room, singing a mournful traditional tune. Angrily, I punched her with all my might and locked her in the bathroom. On the second night, a blood-soaked, mangled ghost tried to approach me for a meal. Unafraid, I immediately grabbed a stick and beat him into a neat cube. On the third night, a wealthy man personally came to earnestly invite me to exorcise demons. I was taken aback. I don't know how to do those things. The weak evil spirits I had subdued lay at my feet, lamenting in unison. Damn, if you don't know how to do it, you're even better than professional shamans. Oh my God, what are they saying? I'm just a small, weak, and very ordinary girl. My family had 4 respectable members. My grandfather, a simple farmer, bravely fought in battles, wielding a sickle to behead enemies. My grandmother, a dedicated physician, spent her life saving people and ultimately died on the examination table. My father, a devoted guardian of waterways, saved countless lives on the brink of death. My older brother, a hero who sacrificed himself during a devastating earthquake, now rests there forever. Now, I'm the only survivor in the family. The fortune teller at the beginning of the street firmly stated, "You carry merit as thick as a fortress wall." I don't know how thick it is. I only know that I'm dirt poor. To save on expenses, I decided to risk buying a repossessed house at a dirt cheap price. Only after moving in did I realize it was a haunted house. Rumor has it that there was a gruesome murder. A villain broke in and killed a teenager right in this house. I thought to myself, no big deal. I'm filled with righteous light. My heart always burning with passion, not a bit afraid. On the first night after moving in, as darkness fell, the lights, though long turned off, suddenly glowed with a dim yellow light, flickering strangely, turning the living room into a bizarre minibar. I hurriedly flipped the switch, but it didn't work. The lights continued to flicker, the yellow gradually shifting to a creepy green. A bone-chilling wind suddenly rushed in through the window, slapping my face with cold. In the sweltering July weather, I was shivering. Without thinking for more than 2 seconds, I pulled out my phone and dialed the number from the advertisement on the door. "Hello, is this Electrician Davis House's lights acting up? Could you please come and check?" About 10 minutes later, Electrician Davis arrived, wearing a tank top that revealed his bulging muscles. Under a baseball cap was a handsome, captivating face. I stood there dumbfounded. Do electricians now have to meet hot boy standards? He looked at me with a hint of scrutiny. Embarrassed, I blushed. That look surely meant he had feelings for me. Unfortunately, he said nothing, just carried his toolbox in to check the electricity. After some tinkering, everything seemed normal, but the lights still flickered like a nightclub. Electrician Davis sighed, then pulled a peach wood sword from his pocket. I was stunned. Do electricians now also double as exorcists? I shrank back, Mr. Davis. Playing mystical games in the middle of the night scares me to death. He smiled gently. If you're scared, just stand behind me. Obediently, I nestled behind him, taking the opportunity to gently touch his strong back muscles. Oh my God, a lifetime opportunity to touch the real deal. He held the sword and charged straight into the bathroom. Inside echoed terrifying screams. 3 minutes later, everything was settled, and the whole house lit up. It's done. He calmly sheathed the sword and collected 200,000 VND. The handsome man left without even leaving his name, leaving me feeling downcast. But worse was that on the second night, the house started acting up again. Outside, the moon shone as brightly as snow, while inside, darkness enveloped everything like a thick ink. In the faint moonlight, I could vaguely make out a young woman in a crimson wedding dress, floating above the ground in the living room, her long hair reaching her waist. In a weak, trembling voice, she sang a sorrowful traditional Southern Vietnamese ballad. Today is my parents' 60th birthday. I wanted to come home and celebrate, but I had no money to buy a gift. Though I'm a filial daughter, I'm helpless. As she sang, she turned her head slowly, saying, "Oh God, Mom." Her face was deathly pale like a corpse, her smile horrifying, blood-red tears streaming from her eyes. "Miss, could I borrow a bit of money? To buy a soul?" I was so terrified I nearly peed my pants. I immediately tried calling the spiritual electrician. I dialed 3 times busy tone every time. Just as the ghost's long claws were about to touch my face, I decisively hung up the phone, rolled up my sleeves, and kicked her straight in the chest, sending her tumbling back. I then sat on her stomach, furiously flailing my fists. "You damn ghost! I've tolerated you for 2 whole days. You broke my light bulbs, that's one thing, but haunting me when there's a hot guy visiting, that's crossing the line. And now, singing in the dead of night. I've had it. Keep this up, and I'm calling the cops to serve you justice. Borrow money? The only thing I have plenty of is poverty. Okay? You believe me?" The ghost let out a terrifying shriek and instantly revealed her true form. Her face twisted with fury, sharp fangs protruding, sending chills down my spine. Her nails quickly grew longer, transforming into sleek, jet-black claws, each around 5 centimeters long. Clearly, she was about to attack, her face filled with hatred. But I was faster. I grabbed the hem of her dress and yanked it down hard, mocking her with a sneer. "Oh ho, flying now, are we? Got a flight permit yet? Filed your airspace paperwork? Bought a low-altitude flight ticket? Who gave you permission to zip around like this?" She looked unwilling to give up and squirmed to escape my grip. But the moment her claws touched my skin, a blinding divine light burst forth, scorching her with holy fire. She screamed in agony, her face twisted in horror, her eyes wide with disbelief. She asked in a trembling voice, Who are you? What deity are you to possess such immense divine merit?" Calmly fixing my collar, I smiled coldly and replied, "I'm just a kind-hearted person, that's all." Without hesitation, I landed a few more solid punches. In the end, the ghost girl was completely defeated and humiliated. She curled up in a corner, clutching her swollen, bruised face, trembling and sobbing pitifully. Truly, this was karma catching up with her. She thought to herself, "I've been dead for over 10 years without ever hurting anyone. I just wanted to give this weak girl a small scare for fun. Yesterday, that messy electrician nearly exorcised me into oblivion. And today, I met this lunatic. Not only did she beat me senseless, but her holy light crushed me completely. Boo-hoo. Who says being human is hard? Being a ghost is 100 times worse. I'm already dead, but now I wish I could die again." In just a short moment, tears streamed down her face, making her look both grotesque and filthy. I yelled angrily, "I forbid you to cry. This house may be cheap, but it still costs over 10,000 yuan per square meter. If you make a mess, who's going to pay to fix it? Hell money has no value in the human world." The ghost girl trembled even more, curling up in fear in a dark corner. Just then, the door to the room was violently kicked open. Bursting in from outside was the handsome electrician, wielding a peachwood sword. his movements swift as the wind. He stormed into the house with a fierce shout. "Demonic creature! How dare you continue to harm the living?" He raised his sword, ready to strike. I looked on in shock, then suddenly lunged forward to embrace the electrician tightly, crying hysterically while also feeling up his rock-hard abs, mumbling through my sobs. "Boo-hoo, I'm so scared. Please save me, mister." Whoever said haunted houses are bad luck? This haunted house was downright cozy and full of charm. "Sit up straight and talk properly," I told myself. But in this situation, who was supposed to be afraid of whom? 3 minutes later, the miserable ghost girl was sealed inside a gourd. My eyes welled up with tears as I clung tightly to the electrician's sleeve, unwilling to let go. My voice trembled with vulnerability. "Mister, I'm all alone. I'm so scared." Lucas Davis gently nodded, his gaze full of tenderness. "A girl staying alone in a haunted house really isn't safe. Just come with me." I blushed and nodded obediently. After packing a few simple clothes, I stepped out the door with him. On the way, Lucas Davis handed me a protective talisman and carefully explained how to use it. He said he was about to undertake a very dangerous mission and told me to hide far away. My eyes sparkled like stars, filled with admiration. How could someone be so handsome yet make me feel so safe? Not long after, a loud explosion echoed in the distance. A young boy with a garlic bulb-shaped haircut was running at full speed, tears streaming down his face as he cried out, "Senior brother, this demon is way too fierce." From afar, a commanding female voice rang out coldly. "Provide backup immediately. If we can't subdue it today, the entire street will fall into disaster." Lucas Davis glanced at me, his look signaling something, and I instantly stepped back and quickly hid in a corner. With my lack of combat ability, what business would a frail girl like me have in that mess? Lucas Davis looked quite pleased with my quick reaction. Without hesitation, he drew his peachwood sword and charged straight into the battle. In the blink of an eye, a blinding white light flared up. The cold-looking girl sighed deeply, her voice filled with regret. "What a pity. We're one step too late." Suddenly, a deep crimson blur shot toward me, reeking so strongly of blood that it made me nauseous. Lucas Davis shouted loudly, trying to warn me. "Mia, run!" But the blood shadow moved at superhuman speed within a split second. It was right in front of me. Didn't expect to find a mortal here. Just in time, I was starving, and here's a tasty treat. The blood shadow laughed wickedly and lunged toward me. Smelling its horrible stench, I scrunched up my face, pinched my nose, and kicked it straight in the face. I muttered with disgust. "Ooh, you stink. Even ghosts should brush their teeth. Otherwise, the other spirits are going to mock you. Don't you feel embarrassed?" After my kick sent it flying back, the dark blur revealed its true form. A ghastly old demon with long, stringy hair. He froze, dumbfounded, unable to believe what had just happened. You dare kick me? What, was I supposed to just let you do whatever you want?" "Fine, then let's continue." I picked up a piece of wood nearby and started smacking him while scolding. "You made me forget today I'm wearing new shoes. And now they're all dirty because of you. Sit still. Don't move." A series of loud whack-whack noises followed. The old demon turned pale and was beaten into a neatly shaped square. His face was distorted, and he stammered, "Ooh, who exactly are you? I've lived for 300 years, yet you have no aura of cultivation. How can this be?" I struck him hard on the mouth with the stick to shut him up. "What a pain. Bragging about your age in this day and age? Seriously annoying. Ooh, a so-called ancient ghost. Like being old is something to be proud of. Ridiculous." Just then, Lucas Davis arrived only to see a petite girl, me, standing next to the square-shaped old demon. He was speechless for a few seconds. You! Leech him? I threw the stick aside and ran into his arms, sobbing. Boo-hoo-hoo! He scared me so bad. Lucas Davis brought me back to a luxurious mansion. The old demon and the female ghost from the haunted house had been sealed in glass containers and placed to the side. The others in the room simply rested their chins on their hands, staring at me in awe. The garlic-haired boy chimed in. Big sis, you're amazing. The cold girl asked icily, Who trained you? I lowered my head and mumbled, I'm just an ordinary person. The old demon shouted, Bullshit. No ordinary person could send me flying like that. The ghost girl nodded vigorously. Yes, yes. She even sat on me and beat me up. And after that, she still had time to grope the handsome guy. I swear I'm not human, but she is definitely a fraud. I pouted. Why are you all smearing my reputation like this? Lucas Davis cleared his throat, and silence fell instantly. Although I don't know what abilities you possess, I have a rather challenging case at hand. Are you interested in joining? I shook my head vigorously. Sorry, I'm an office worker and have to go to work tomorrow. I don't have the time. Lucas Davis added, The remuneration is $200,000. I beamed, Okay, sir. I'll quit my job. The next day, Lucas Davis, the cool sister, and I, each donned in a worker's uniform, stood before the gate of the Williams family, the wealthiest family in the country. Looking at the uniform, I clicked my tongue repeatedly. I've met feng shui masters before, but none as professional as this. This outfit seems to suit me quite well. On the way, Lucas Davis explained the situation. The only granddaughter of the third generation of the wealthy Williams family. A 15-year-old girl, after a deep-sea diving trip, inexplicably became possessed by an evil spirit. Every day, she soaks herself in a tub of water, eating only raw fish. Once, right in front of her grandfather, she devoured a live, wriggling fish, which was too much for the old man to bear. Mr. Williams has offered a reward of $1 billion to find someone capable of saving his granddaughter. Lucas Davis is one of those people. I whispered, I understand. We're going to catch a ghost. But why are we bringing along the 2 ghosts from yesterday? The sister shook the 2 glass bottles tied to her waist. Understand the law of attraction. These 2 ghosts are professional radars for detecting anomalies. I asked again, Next, do we need to set up an altar and perform rituals? Lucas Davis shook his head. No need for that just yet. As soon as he finished speaking, the door opened. A haughty butler looked down from above. What are you doing here? I puffed out my chest, ready to declare, We are exorcist masters. Unexpectedly, Lucas Davis had already handed over a business card. Smiling politely, Hello. We are professional cleaning staff from the company. We've come to the house that scheduled an appointment. The butler glanced disdainfully. Come in. I looked down at my uniform. Oh, it's not an outfit for the metaphysical world, but a cleaning uniform. Entering the Williams residence, the first thing that caught my eye was a 100-year-old pagoda tree. The wind rustled the leaves, casting dense shadows that seemed to cover the sky. Several wind chimes hanging from the branches jingled softly. The female ghost, who had been silent until now, suddenly spoke. This chime sounds familiar. A fellow spirit? No. I think I used to live here. Before she could finish, the old ghost puffed. What? You're just a poor ghost from the slums. Don't talk nonsense. The female ghost let out a groan and then fell silent. After a few turns, a pristine white tower appeared before us. The butler looked up and cautioned, Get to work quickly. Don't touch what shouldn't be touched. And don't go up to the 3rd floor. He paused, his gaze icy. If you don't listen, you'll disappear. After speaking, he checked his watch and called out to a security guard. Why hasn't Master Davis arrived yet? Go urge him. The master is getting impatient. The guard replied, He's arrived and is in the front hall. I was puzzled. Weren't they the ones who invited Master Davis? Lucas Davis glanced over. Don't worry about it, just do your job. We proceeded smoothly to the second floor. The butler had forbidden access to the third floor because Miss Williams' room, the one possessed by the evil spirit, was directly above us. It's so damp, the sister observed. Why is this south-facing room accumulating moisture? Something's definitely off, I exclaimed excitedly. You're amazing. I hadn't even noticed the humidity. Truly a professional's insight. She pointed, immediately identifying the anomaly. Opening her palm, a device appeared. Close your mouth already. Haven't you ever used a hygrometer? Lucas Davis looked down and pressed a few buttons. In an instant, a 3D image of the room above materialized. Curious, I asked, What's this? Just a projection from a surveillance camera. Surely you've seen this in movies, Lucas Davis replied. When did you install the camera? I frowned, while I was admiring that hygrometer of yours. Such a scientifically inclined response. The luxurious room featured a massive fish tank at its center. A girl in a white dress, her expression one of suffering, floated sluggishly inside, her entire body pale as a mummy. I was too frightened to look directly and instead glanced around, suddenly noticing something peculiar. In the corner of the room was an old photograph of a girl wearing a conical hat, smiling brightly in a field. She looked so familiar. Oh my God, isn't that a Kutch-Ku? The sister shouted, her eyes fixed on the back of the girl in the tank. There was a strange, blood-red circular mark. Lucas Davis explained, A Kutch-Ku is weak but excels at possession. Once it takes hold, separating it is nearly impossible. I wondered aloud. She encountered a water spirit while diving. So why is she possessed by a Kutch-Ku? Lucas Davis pointed at the screen. This type of Kutch-Ku is easily manipulated by others. There's definitely someone behind this. ResearchGate. The door to the upstairs room opened and 2 men entered. One was a middle-aged man in grey attire with greying hair. The billionaire. Featured in financial magazines. Following him was another middle-aged man in Taoist robes. Undoubtedly the Master Davis the butler had mentioned. I discreetly compared Master Davis to Lucas Davis and noted the stark difference despite their shared profession. Lucas Davis glanced at me. What are you looking at? Looking at how handsome you are, I replied. Lucas Davis stiffened, blushing, and turned away. My sister grinned. Still flirting at a time like this? You're truly something else. I modestly turned my head, only to notice the jar containing the female ghost shaking violently. My sister sternly commanded, Quiet, but the usually timid female ghost showed no fear today, struggling even more intensely. A stream of black mist poured out from the jar. I remember now. This is my house, my home, she muttered, going berserk and banging against the jar. Lucas Davis took out a red string and tied it around the jar, gradually calming the female ghost, who was now sobbing uncontrollably. I asked, Isn't the Williams family supposed to have only one granddaughter? Who are you? Still weeping, the female ghost replied, My father had only me, and my husband was a live-in son-in-law. Ah, I see, I said, looking at the glass surface. So, Miss Williams is your daughter? The female ghost frantically shook her head. No, no. Before I died, I was still a virgin. How could I have a child? Ha, how interesting. The only daughter of a billionaire died in an abandoned house, and suddenly a granddaughter appears, along with signs of a puppet ghost. There must be a grand conspiracy. The only question is, who is behind it all? In the room, The billionaire looked at his granddaughter with sorrow. Half a month ago, my granddaughter went on a vacation. Upon returning, her mind was in disarray. Her skin cracked and she was like a lost soul. No doctor could help. Only soaking in water provided slight relief. For the past half-month, she's been in a state between life and death. Occasionally, when lucid, she would hold my hand and cry, "Grandpa, it hurts so much." Master Davis stroked his beard and smiled mysteriously. Witnessing his granddaughter's critical condition, the billionaire, with a worried expression, quickly said, "If my granddaughter recovers, I promise to transfer 1 billion to you immediately." Hearing this firm commitment, Master Davis nodded slightly, his face contemplative. He slowly moved around the water tank, narrowing his eyes and occasionally raising his hand to calculate, exuding an aura of mystery. After a long while, having performed seemingly strenuous rituals, he sighed. It's truly unfortunate that the puppet ghost has caused such confusion and turmoil. Seeing Master Davis's seemingly pessimistic attitude, the billionaire couldn't help but feel a mix of joy and hope. Hastily asking, "Master Davis, do you have a way to resolve the situation?" Master Davis nodded again, his voice solemn. Puppet ghosts are indeed easy to deal with, but also quite complex. What do you mean? The billionaire grew more perplexed. Once a puppet ghost possesses a body, it's almost inseparable from its host. Forcing it out is extremely difficult. To save your granddaughter, the only way is to find someone close to her to act as a substitute. Then transfer the puppet ghost into that person. So, the billionaire stammered, the substitute would have to die in place of my granddaughter? As soon as the words were spoken, the door outside suddenly burst open. A middle-aged man appeared, wearing gold-rimmed glasses, with a composed demeanor and refined manners. He slowly stepped forward and spoke clearly. "I volunteer." The moment he appeared, the female ghost in the jar, previously silent, suddenly became agitated as if provoked. The red strings wrapped around the glass jar began to snap one by one. The glass jar now showed numerous cracks, as if a slight touch would shatter it, allowing the female ghost to escape. Her furious screams, filled with deep hatred, echoed throughout the room. "I want to kill him. Let me kill him." The female ghost had completely lost control. Witnessing the man's appearance, the billionaire immediately objected. "No, you are the girl's father. If something happens to you, how will she live?" The man who had just arrived was indeed the Williams family's son-in-law. A glance at his face revealed he had rushed over, with beads of sweat still on his forehead. He spoke with determination. "Father, I couldn't protect her mother before. This time, I must protect our daughter at all costs." Master Davis, standing nearby, stroked his beard and calmly said, "Sir, have you thought this through? Once possessed by a theatrical ghost, the outcome is inevitably death." The man nodded firmly. "No matter the result, I accept it." He continued, "Father, I've already arranged everything at the company. Next week, please come to take over the work." He sighed. "Over the years, I've saved some money for our daughter. I hope you can manage it for her and give it to her when the time comes." He paused briefly, then softly added, "I was just a live-in son-in-law. My presence or absence doesn't affect the Williams family much. I only hope she can visit my biological parents on my behalf in the future." His heartfelt words clearly showed a father's willingness to sacrifice for his daughter. Then he knelt down and bowed deeply 3 times before the billionaire, expressing his gratitude and respect. Standing up, he resolutely said, "Master Davis, please begin." Witnessing this touching scene, I rubbed my chin and thought to myself, this naturalized son-in-law isn't bad at all, at least. He's a man of affection and loyalty. I turned to the female ghost confined in the jar and asked, "Are you sure you're not mistaken?" Maybe you do have a daughter. Immediately, a thick black smoke poured out from the jar, accompanied by the female ghost's furious scream. They're all liars. Oh no. I scolded myself for meddling with unnecessary questions. Just one sentence from me had triggered the female ghost's rage. My sister, with cold decisiveness, threw the jar containing the female ghost to me. Mia, you watch over this ghost for me. Black smoke rose, obscuring all vision. I stood there, bewildered, as if holding a hot potato, shifting the jar from my left hand to my right, unsure of what to do. Eventually, I gripped the jar tightly and tried to negotiate, saying, "Be good, and I'll find a chance for you to get your revenge, okay?" The female ghost screamed, "Absolutely not." I lowered my voice and gently threatened, "Then I'll crush you right now." Terrified, the ghost hissed, "Fine. I won't cause any more trouble." As the black smoke gradually dissipated, the scene above became clearer. Upstairs, the ritual had begun. The process was extremely elaborate and filled with superstition. After a series of complex procedures, Master Davis suddenly coughed up a mouthful of fresh blood. "This isn't good," he said weakly. "Your fate clashes with the demon's. It's impossible to extract it from her." His voice was faint, and he seemed on the verge of fainting. The middle-aged man quickly supported him and asked anxiously, "Then what should we do now?" Master Davis struggled to speak. "We need to find someone else. Is there anyone else related to the girl by blood?" Upon hearing this, the billionaire closed his eyes in deep thought before saying, "Let me do it." This time, everything seemed to proceed more smoothly. A strange black shadow was forced out of the girl's body, emitting a piercing screech. It resembled a cat that had longer, sharper ears and was much larger. Guided by Master Davis, the demon screamed angrily and lunged straight at the billionaire. In an instant, the billionaire's skin began to crack. The fissures spread, and blood slowly oozed from his entire body. He writhed in pain and collapsed to the ground, struggling to crawl toward the water tank. I wondered aloud, if the girl isn't the daughter of the female ghost, then how does William's Trankeet have a blood connection with this demon, allowing it to possess him? Lucas Davis sneered coldly. That Master Davis is full of lies. Demons can possess bodies easily. There's no need for blood relations or life exchanges. I took a deep breath, trying to calm myself amid the unfolding events. It turned out that everything had been a meticulously orchestrated play, a trap targeting the Williams family. All the talk about bloodlines and fate, all of Master Davis's predictions were fabrications. It was all a scheme by the middle-aged man, who had secretly hired someone to play the role of a prophet and feng shui expert to deceive and manipulate events. His ultimate goal was to force the mountain demon into the billionaire's body and then legally kill him. This way, the middle-aged man could easily seize the power and assets of the Williams family, making them his own. As expected, everything unfolded just as I had predicted. The moment the demon successfully possessed the billionaire's body, the middle-aged man immediately shed his facade of concern and worry. He sat down comfortably, taking a harsh drag from his cigarette, the swirling white smoke enveloping him. Meanwhile, he looked at the old man now reduced to a half-human, half-demon creature writhing in excruciating pain, and coldly asked, "Does it hurt, Dad?" It seemed he was relishing the old man's agony. With the last remnants of his sanity, the billionaire, upon witnessing Lak Kai Sun's true nature, was consumed with rage. He slammed his hand onto the water tank in fury and growled, "You." The middle-aged man stood up, dusted off his shirt, and responded with arrogance and indifference. "Yes, it's me. No need to get so worked up. You're about to die anyway. Causing a mess here would be quite troublesome." At that moment, the little girl began to regain consciousness. She looked around in confusion, trying to grasp what was happening, and asked, "Daddy, what are you doing to Grandpa?" She hurriedly climbed out of the tank, her face filled with worry. "Why did you say Grandpa is about to die?" "He can't die." Still unaware of the full situation, she clung to him, pleading, "Daddy, you never acted like this before." The man didn't respond. Instead, he raised his hand and slapped the girl hard across the face, sending her sprawling to the ground. He coldly ordered, "Repeat after me. You're my daughter and have no relation whatsoever to the Williams family." Then he continued, "If you keep talking, I'll send you to massage Lord William's feet." This threat left the girl pale with fear. Just then, the Williams family's butler entered and quickly pulled the little girl away from the area. The billionaire seemed thunderstruck, trying to confirm in disbelief. "What did you say? The girl isn't my granddaughter?" The man smirked maliciously. "If you want to know the truth, wait until this Saturday. I'll summon the spirit and let you see for yourself." He waved his hand, instructing Master Davis to clean up everything thoroughly. The Williams family had many people and affairs to manage. Master Davis chuckled eerily, replying, "Rest assured, no matter how thoroughly they investigate, everything will just be blamed on the demon play." The man nodded in satisfaction and leisurely walked away. Suddenly, a sharp noise rang out as the glass jar containing the female ghost fell to the ground and shattered. Lucas Davis looked directly at me. I shrugged, trying to explain. I said I was careless. "Do you believe me?" Lucas Davis nodded without hesitation. "I believe you. Very much so." We quickly ascended to the 3rd floor, where the events were unfolding. The room was now engulfed in swirling black smoke, with anguished screams echoing everywhere. The female ghost, in a fit of extreme rage, had overturned everything, acting with ruthless brutality. Without any pretense, she directly hung the man upside down on the wall, continuously beating him. "Who are you?" he screamed in fear. Master Davis quickly suppressed this monstrous being. His former arrogant nobility had completely vanished, replaced only by utter panic and pitiful struggle. Master Davis immediately prepared to carry out the execution, but a sudden blood-red flash shot over and pinned him to the wall. Flesh and bone disintegrated, revealing the haggard, grief-stricken face of the old demon. "Haha, I've lived over 100 years and never seen a man as shameless as you," the old demon mocked. "You think bullying someone's daughter makes you strong? Come here and fight me if you dare." Master Davis struggled even to handle low-level spirits like the theater ghost. How could he possibly stand a chance against an ancient demon who had lived for a century? He couldn't even save himself, let alone anyone else. Trembling, he pleaded, "Senior, this has nothing to do with me. I'm just an imposter paid to do a job. I'm not really Davis. If you have a grudge, take it up with that man. He paid me $1 million to kill someone. Aside from that, I did nothing." The old demon sneered coldly. He stretched out his blood-red tongue, wrapping it around the fake master's neck. His eyes rolled back as he kicked wildly in the air, scared senseless until he fainted. "Useless. You've got less guts than a little girl." The demon scoffed and tossed him aside. Then he leapt lazily onto the sofa, curling up in a relaxed posture, and casually instructed the female ghost, "Take your time with that girl. We're not in a hurry." Hearing that only made the female ghost angrier. Her strikes grew more violent. After venting her rage for a while, she revealed her pale, blood-soaked face, tears streaming down like rain. Even in broad daylight, that face would terrify anyone. She said coldly, "It's been a long time." A chill wind swept across his neck, making him shiver to the bone. He shook his head violently, his voice trembling. "No way. You can't be outside. It's impossible." The female ghost tightened her grip around the man's neck with her long, pitch-black claws. A little more pressure, and his life would end right then and there. She growled through clenched teeth, her voice full of pain and accusation. "It was because of you. I loved you so much. I gave up my whole family for you. And this is how you repay me? You deceived me, cheated on me with another woman. And when I saw the betrayal with my own eyes, you went as far as hiring someone to murder me and stage the scene to cover it up." Her face was soaked in both blood and tears, an agonizing mixture of rage and sorrow. She had given her heart to the man when she had just turned 18, a naive and trusting girl just beginning her life. He was a poor young man, but one with passionate words and endless sweet promises. After 2 relentless years of pursuit, he was finally brought into the Williams family only to meet with fierce opposition from her father. Mr. Williams had firmly ordered them to break up, but the man, cunning at heart, persuaded her to run away with him. He painted a bright, promising future, vowing he would use his own hands to build a life for her, turn her into his little princess, and give her a peaceful, happy life. And she believed in every promise he made. But only half a year later, when he realized the Williams family hadn't bothered looking for her, his attitude changed completely. He turned cold, distant, and cruel. He abandoned her in a dingy, run-down rental room and shamelessly took up with another woman. When the female ghost heard the news, all she could think of was how desperately she wanted to return to the warm embrace of the Williams family. That very night, 2 thugs broke into the rental room and brutally took her life. But it didn't end there. They disposed of her body and used dark magic to imprison her soul within that very room, preventing her from moving on and condemning her to suffer eternal torment. After completing everything, he brought the illegitimate child he had with that other woman back to the Williams family, shedding crocodile tears as he told them a fabricated tale about a tragic accident, claiming he had risked his life to save the newborn. The more she thought about it, the more overwhelming her hatred became. That wretched man had deceived her love, betrayed her, and cruelly orchestrated her death. And not only that, he even wanted to greedily seize her family's entire fortune. Even though her body had decayed, and her soul now wandered aimlessly, she was determined to drag him to hell, to make him experience pain 1,000 times worse than what she endured. The female ghost let out a desperate, soul-wrenching scream as her form shattered into thick, black smoke, curling tightly into a corner of the room. The man collapsed to the ground, then clumsily scrambled back to his feet, his face twisted with hatred and malice. "Even when you were alive, you couldn't beat me. And now that you're dead, you're even more useless," he snarled. He pulled a glowing talisman from his clothes, pointing it at the ghost and commanding, "Just die quietly already. I'll make sure to enjoy every bit of your family's wealth." He raised his hand to press the talisman down, but just then, I quickly grabbed Lucas Davis and shouted, "Don't do it." The beautiful woman also spoke up in warning. "That's dangerous. It was just a piece of paper, wasn't it? Ornately decorated, yes, but it felt light in the hand. No different from ordinary paper. Why was everyone acting so tense?" Yet the moment the talisman touched my hand, its golden light began to fade. In seconds, it lost its glow entirely, leaving behind nothing but a dull scrap of paper. Lucas Davis stood silent for a moment, then let out a laugh. "All right, as long as you're happy." I tore the talisman into 100 tiny pieces. The man narrowed his eyes in fury and demanded, "Who are you people?" I lifted my chin confidently and replied, "We're professional cleaners from a home. Cleaning service company Very. Pleased to be at your service." He was stunned, speechless on the spot. How much did you hear? All of it, I answered bluntly. A sinister glint flashed in his eyes. Then none of you will leave here alive. Perfect, I hadn't planned on leaving anyway. I motioned to the old ghost. Big bro, a little help. The old ghost replied. He's carrying a protective charm. I don't dare touch him. No problem. This was child's play for me. With a single wink, Lucas Davis and the beautiful lady charged in like two iron clamps, pinning the man down and giving him no chance to resist. I took my sweet time searching him from top to bottom, removing anything suspicious. From exquisitely carved jade, pendants to powerful talismans, nothing escaped my grasp. Eventually, too lazy to sort through each item, I just stripped him completely, leaving him with only his underwear to preserve a shred of decency. All done. Now it's your turn, I said. Just leave him alive. The old ghost nodded. All right. A wave of darkness surged forward, dragging the man through the wall. Who knew where he was taken? To vent the old ghost's fury. The house immediately returned to an eerie calm. In the glass tank, the billionaire drifted in and out of consciousness, but his eyes remained locked on the thick black, smoke curling in the corner of the room. From time to time, when he regained clarity, the old man would call out toward the swirling black smoke. After a while, the smoke began to take the shape of a young girl with twin braids and a bright, beautiful face. But sadly, the image had become faint and blurry, no longer as vivid as it once was. The female ghost slowly approached the glass tank. She hadn't even spoken a word yet when tears began streaming down her face, and she sobbed uncontrollably. Dad, I'm sorry. If I had listened to you back then, if I had stayed away from that cruel man, I wouldn't have ended up like this, and I wouldn't have almost been silenced completely by him. Mr. Williams opened his mouth, wanting to comfort his daughter, but no words came. Some things, like death, once they happen, can never be undone. The essence of death lies in its finality, and accepting that is always the hardest part. Where were you buried? His voice trembled, heavy with utter despair. Please, tell me, so I can find your remains. The female ghost pointed to me. At her house. Hearing that, Mr. Williams turned toward me, his eyes full of grief and heartbreak. Young lady, would you consider selling that house? I hesitated, and my face clearly showed the struggle within me. I didn't have the means to move elsewhere. Back then, due to financial hardship, I had no choice but to purchase that old, almost cursed house shrouded in darkness and misfortune. If I sold it, where would I go? Live under a bridge? Then suddenly, a thought struck me. I gently asked, what if we traded houses instead? Mr. Williams nodded without a moment's hesitation. At that moment, Lucas Davis appeared. His eyes fell upon the strange mark at the back of Mr. Williams' neck. He understood the mysterious links between this world and the other. He turned to me and asked, could I borrow a drop of your blood? I still have doubts about everything that's been happening. There are mysteries I haven't fully grasped yet. Would that be all right? Previously, that fake sorcerer had to exert a great deal of effort just to subdue the drama ghost. But for Lucas, it all seemed strangely effortless. Don't worry, everything will be fine, Lucas said calmly, his voice carrying a quiet confidence. He made a small cut on my hand, and a drop of dark red blood fell onto the strange mark at the back of Mr. Williams' neck. Instantly, a thick plume of black smoke erupted from the mark, swirling before condensing into the shape of a cat, hovering in midair. Grab it, Lucas Davis ordered without hesitation. I quickly reached out and caught the smoky feline form. It immediately dissipated, leaving behind only a smear of black sludge on my hand. I shook my hand, puzzled as I stared at the tar-like liquid. That's it. Gross. Spirits that have fulfilled their karmic ties typically don't linger long in the human world. The female ghost was no exception. As the sun set, her figure slowly dissolved into the golden twilight, returning to the eternal beyond. Once Mr. Williams fully regained his clarity, he began a thorough cleansing of his household. He ordered a complete purge of the staff, removing anyone disloyal, and summoned a newly appointed team of bodyguards. Together, they headed to the house where I had been living. The tiny apartment, barely 80 square meters, filled Mr. Williams with sorrow. The pain of losing his daughter surged once again, overwhelming him. He hadn't expected that the final days of her life had been spent in such hardship. He sighed, trying to suppress his tears. This place is so small, even a dog wouldn't want to live here. Hey, now I'm really poor, no need to rub it in, I muttered. Under the meticulous guidance of experts, every brick and wall section was carefully chiseled away, eventually revealing a set of remains that had been discreetly concealed. Despite his overwhelming grief, Mr. Williams painstakingly collected every fragment of bone, with trembling hands, and gently prepared to bury his beloved daughter with dignity. The new butler of the Williams family, a polite and friendly gentleman, personally drove me to a luxurious villa. The master has instructed that the house exchange must follow a principle of equality, he explained. The first house in the second row is yours. I hope you won't find it unsatisfactory, the butler said. In front of me stood a massive villa, complete with a private garage that was larger than my old home. I could only stay silent and accept it. Turning it down would just be stupid. Oh my God, I've hit the jackpot. 2 days later, 20 million in commission was deposited into my account, along with a message from Lucas Davis. I've got a few things I need to take care of. Want to come along? I paused, reflecting on how my life had completely changed since meeting Lucas Davis. I wondered if he saw me as an ally, or just some kind of demon-banishing super tool. I asked him honestly, "Do you see me as just a prop?" Lucas answered bluntly, without a hint of hesitation. "Yes, each job brings in at least 10 million. God, he was being completely honest, but why didn't that hurt my feelings at all? "Give me 3 minutes. I'm going to buy a car," I replied. On the day the man who had caused so much pain was to be executed, I secretly went with the old ghost to the execution grounds. I wanted to wait until he turned into a ghost so the old ghost could deal with him. Again, no way was I going to let that villain have a chance at reincarnation. But even as midnight passed, his ghost never appeared. I muttered, "How can there be mistakes in a state execution? By now, he should be as cold as rotting fish." The old ghost chimed in, "Exactly. If this were the Qing dynasty and he were beheaded, he would have been chopped 8 times over by now. Why is it still not done?" That reminds me of something," I suddenly said. After we'd resolved the Williams case, Mr. Williams had burned all his high-end furniture for the old ghost. Now, the old ghost lay sprawled on a luxury sofa, enjoying the comfort. Being stuck outside again made him grumpy. Right then, my phone rang. It was Lucas Davis. "Don't wait anymore. Forgot to mention, this country's spiritual energy is special. When someone is executed by the state, that energy completely scatters their soul. They don't become ghosts." The old ghost angrily climbed onto the car roof. Damn it! I thought I'd get to stretch my legs. Drive, I want to feel the breeze. So I hit the gas and drove off, the old ghost sitting on the roof casually humming some opera tune. As we passed by a hospital, I suddenly heard the cry of a newborn baby. The old ghost chuckled. "You hear that?" I nodded gently. "Mr. Williams' daughter has reincarnated. I wonder what her name will be this time." The old ghost took out a pipe from who knows where, exhaled a puff of smoke into the air, and said, Doesn't matter what name so long as she lives a peaceful life. Thank you all for listening. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to hear more great stories as soon as they're released.